No, you say.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Sevanandani, can you share the screen?
Yes, Mataji, you can share the screen.
No, can you share? Can
Okay.
you?
What you want me to share, Mataji?
6.29.
Okay, just give me 1 second. I don't know if I can do this. Okay.
Okay.
6.26, Mataji.
29.
29.
Hello, how are you doing? It's my first time here. My name is Kweku Griffiths. I just wanted to introduce myself to let you know I'm in here. And I was on the website and I saw that there's going to be a discussion about the Bhagavad Gita at 7 p.m.
Very nice to meet you.
I think Mataji is joining for the first time, so we should welcome him with a great Hari.
Yeah, welcome. Hari Bol.
Hari Bol.
Hari Bol.
Hari Bol.
Hari Bol.
Hari Bol.
Welcome, Griffith.
Right.
You said.
Thank you. So I live right here in Connecticut, in Glastonbury, East Hartford, but I was born in Pune, Maharashtra.
Oh,
nice.
Interesting. Yeah.
My dad is from, my parents are from Ghana, but my dad studied for about 11 to 12 years in India. And that's
Oh,
how I have a strong connection with India, Hindu culture, and the Vedas. And I'm trying to find myself now in life. I decided that the master within told me to go back to the Bhagavad Gita.
you made the right choice.
Everything is right there.
Welcome.
Very nice. You're most welcome and feel free to ask any questions anytime.
I will. I appreciate it.
Okay. Let's start with prayer. Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Vrajjana Ranjana Yashodanandana Vrajjana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Vrajjana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Okay. Can you increase the font, Sevanandini? Or we can just pull it up. Yeah. So today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 6, and text is 29. As you can see on the screen. Can you all see on the screen?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay.
Yes.
Sarvabhutastma Atmanam
Sarvabhutastam Atmanam
Sarvabhutani Chatmani
Sarvabhutani Chatmani
Ikshate Yoga Yuktatma
Ikshate
Yoga Yuktatma
Sarvatra Samadarshanaha
Sarvatra Samadarshanaha
Sarvabhutastma Atmanam
Sarvabhutastam Atmanam
Sarvabhutani Chatmani
Sarvabhutani Chatmani
Ikshate Yoga Yuktatma
Ikshate Yoga-yuktatma
सर्वत्र समदर्शनः
Sarvatra Samadarshana
सर्वभूतास्म आत्मानं
Sarvabhutasma Atmanam
सर्वभूतानि चात्मनि
Sarvabhutani Atmani
ईक्षते योगयुक्तात्मा
Ikshate Yoga-yuktatma
सर्वत्र समदर्शनः
Sarvatra Samadarshana.
Anyone would like to say?
Sarvabhuta. Go ahead, Jiva.
No, go ahead.
Sarvabhutastamatmanam
सर्वभूतस्म आत्मानं
Sarvabhutani Chatmani
सर्वभूतानि चात्मनि
Ikshate Yoga-yuktatma
ईक्षते योगयुक्तात्मा
Sarvatra Samadarshanaha.
सर्वत्र समदर्शनः Anyone?
Sarvabhutastamatmanam
सर्वभूतास्म आत्मानं
Sarvabhutastamatmanam
Sarvabhutani Chatmani
Sarvabhutani Chatmani
Ikshate Yoga Yuktatma
ईक्षते
Ikshate
योगयुक्तात्मा
Yoga-yuktatma
Sarvatra Samadarshanaha
सर्वत्र
Sarvatra
समदर्शनः
Samadarshanaha.
We'll go with synonyms. सर्वभूतास्तं सर्वभूतास्तं
Sarvabhutastam
situated in all beings.
situated in all
beings
Atmanam,
Atmanam,
Manam
the super soul.
the super soul,
Sarva,
Sarva,
all.
all,
Bhutani,
Bhutani,
entities.
entities,
Cha,
Cha,
also.
also,
Atmani,
Atmani,
in the self.
in the self,
Ikshate,
Ikshate,
does see.
does see,
Yoga Yukta Atma.
Yoga-yukta Atma.
Sevanandini, can you slide? Yeah. Yoga Yuktatma,
Yoga-yukta Atma,
one who is dovetailed in Krishna consciousness.
one who is dovetailed in Krishna consciousness,
Sarvatra,
Sarvatra,
everywhere.
everywhere,
Samadarshanaha,
Samadarshanaha,
seeing equally.
seeing equally.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. A true yogi observes me in all beings and also sees every being in me. Indeed, the self-realized person sees me, the same Supreme Lord, everywhere. A Krishna conscious yogi is the perfect seer because he sees Krishna, the Supreme, situated in everyone's heart as Super Soul, Paramatma. Ishvara Sarva Bhutanam Hridayeshu Arjuna Tishtati. The Lord in his Paramatma feature is situated within both the heart of the dog and that of a Brahmana. The perfect yogi knows that Lord is eternally transcendental and is not materially affected by his presence in either a dog or a Brahmana. That is the supreme neutrality of the Lord. The individual soul is also situated in the individual heart, but he is not present in all hearts. That is the distinction between the individual soul and the super soul. One who is not factually in the practice of yoga cannot see so clearly. A Krishna conscious person can see Krishna in the heart of both the believer and the non-believer. In the Smriti, this is confirmed as follows. Ata tata tvacha cha mantra tvacha cha atmahi paramo harihi. The Lord, being the source of all beings, is like the mother and the maintainer. As the mother is neutral to all different kinds of children, the Supreme Father or the mother is also. Consequently, the Supersoul is always in every living being. Outwardly, also every living being is situated in the energy of the Lord. As will be explained in the 7th chapter, the Lord has primarily two energies, the spiritual or the superior and the material or the inferior. The living entity, although part of the superior energy, is conditioned by the inferior energy. The living entity is always in the Lord's energy. Every living entity is situated in him in one way or another. The yogi sees equally because he sees that all living entities, although in different situations, according to the results of fruitive work, in all circumstances remain the servants of God. While in the material energy, the living entity serves the material senses, and while in the spiritual energy, he serves the Supreme Lord directly. In either case, the living entity is servant of God. This vision of equality is perfect in a person in Krishna consciousness. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavane Shwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpa Tarobhyascha Kripa Sindubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swame Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, I welcome all of you for our regular study every day at 7 p.m. We are studying together Bhagavad Gita. And before I speak, I seek the blessings of all of you present, especially Mother Jiva, Pyari Prabhu, Gita Mala Mataji, and all esteemed guests, devotees assembled here. So here we see that again, we can go back and see the translation. A true yogi observes me in all beings and also sees every being in me. Indeed, the self-realizing person sees me, the same Supreme Lord, everywhere. So we see that Lord has been speaking this Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, and where Arjuna refused to fight with his relatives who are against him standing in this war, in this battle. And once Arjuna surrendered himself, saying that he is now surrendered to Lord as his disciple and wants Lord to guide him. So once Arjuna has surrendered to Krishna, Krishna has taken up this position as a supreme master. So now he's guiding here, giving the knowledge to Arjuna. Who is he? What is his relationship? And what is his duty and responsibilities as a Kshatriya? And also Krishna is giving the knowledge about who is he, because physically we see that we are this body, we identify ourselves with our relatives, with our belongings or things around us. We see that we are this, but actually we are not that what we see, but we are like a spirit, we are soul, and we are Atma. So Krishna is giving knowledge to Arjuna, and in this chapter, which is entitled as a Dhyana Yoga, so we see Dhyana Yoga is also called as Ashtanga Yoga, where a practitioner, a yogi, who practices different kinds of yoga. There are different kinds, I will be explaining it. So Lord Krishna in this chapter is explaining about the eightfold yoga system, which helps in controlling the mind and the senses. So however, it is very difficult in general to perform any kind of yoga in this age of Kali, because even though Lord Krishna is explaining about this Ashtanga Yoga, eightfold yoga system, but Krishna is emphasized in the previous chapter, that is Karma Yoga, where acting in Krishna consciousness is better. So we see that how one can be performing his activities in this world, but keeping Krishna in the center. So that's what Krishna is saying, that is better. So in this world, as I explained earlier, that everyone is trying to maintain his family and no one is working without some kind of like self-interest or some personal gratification. We want, whatever we are doing, we want something in return. But for the criteria of perfection to act in Krishna consciousness is not enjoying the fruits, but to just perform our activities in Krishna consciousness as a duty, because we are part and parcel of Krishna. And when living entity like us, when we act, all our activities towards the satisfaction of the Supreme Lord, then what happens is we become a perfect yogi. We don't have to perform all this Ashtanga Yoga or anything. So this is what Krishna is explaining. Like we see different yogis, like a mystic yogi, we see them, they are sitting in a very straight posture with their eyes half open, and they are not doing any material activities, but their interest is for self promoting themselves. And we see sannyasis also, they have an interest to become one with the God, like that. But Krishna is explaining that Bhakti Yogi is the one who acts in devotion towards Krishna. So Krishna is explaining that Bhakti Yogi is the supreme, he's the topmost yogi. That's what Krishna is explaining, because a Krishna conscious person or a yogi has no desire for his self-satisfaction. He's always craving, he's always striving to satisfy Krishna. Somehow he's always engaged in Krishna consciousness. Like the day starts with with his chanting, and then he's performing arti, and he's cooking. If he's cooking for the pleasure of the Lord. He's offering that food to the Lord, then he's accepting that, honoring that. And then he's doing his work, but his whole idea behind is to serve Krishna. So he's, whatever he gets, the money or whatever, he engages that in the service of the Lord, like by buying some nice foodstuffs for the Lord, or nice place for the Lord. Everything is like his whole intention, idea, criteria is towards satisfying Krishna. So thereby he's not worried about his senses to be satisfied. So this way Krishna is saying that he's the topmost perfect yogi. So who's yogi? Krishna has explained in this chapter that the one who is not attached to his fruits. So we see that he just acts as a obligation, as if he's in a renounced order of life. And yoga means linking ourselves with the Supreme Lord. The link has broken between us and Krishna, and we are in this world. So we are trying to connect Krishna back again by this performing yoga. So that is what the yoga is, linking oneself with the Supreme Lord. So how one can become a yogi? So we can become a yogi unless we renounces our desire for sense gratification, because you see that we want to enjoy in this world very much. We want to like eat nicely, watch nicely, play nicely, go out for recreations, or spend money on ourselves like that. We want to enjoy. But as long as we have the tendency, we can never become a yogi. So we have to understand, Krishna is giving us this knowledge to understand what is our relationship with him. So Krishna is giving that constitutional position of our living entity is that he is a servant of the God, and he has to act accordingly. How a servant doesn't behave like a master, but in this world, we all are behaving like a masters, like controllers. We want to control everything. So we have to understand that we being a living entity, we don't have anything separate, independent identity. And when we understand this, we become a perfect yogi. And so we have to see that how we can engage our senses in Krishna consciousness, how we can become advanced on this path. So Krishna is helping us by giving this knowledge about different yogas. So the real aim for a living entity to give up all selfish activities and just to prepare oneself to satisfy the Supreme. So this linking process has kind of like a ladder, where one can attain the spiritual realization. So Krishna has explained this yoga into three parts. That is Jnana Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, and Bhakti Yoga. Dhyana Yoga is also, it's like a seventh limb in the Ashtanga Yoga, that is meditation. So I'm going to just explain about what are these. So these are Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Dharana, Pratyahara, Dhyana, and Samadhi. Some of you might know about this. It's not first time we are hearing about. So Yama and Niyama, the do's and don'ts. So Yama has like 4 parts. Ahimsa, that is non-violence. Satya, being the truthfulness. Asteya is non-stealing. Brahmacharya is keeping like chastity kind of a thing. Aparigraha, non-possessiveness. We are not trying to take others' property or steal others' property like that. And Niyama is Sauchya, like, cleanliness, purity. Santosha is contentment. Whatever we have, we want to just be happy with it. Tapas is discipline, persistence, austerity. We are trying to sacrifice for others like that. And Swadhyaya, that is a self-study. That is study of Vedas. Like how you can spend time. When you have a time, you're not spending time in trying to go fishing or watching a movie or a game, but studying the Vedas or the scriptures, where you want to understand more about your existence, to get more knowledge. So Ishvara, pranidhana, that is the contemplation of Ishvara, like surrendering oneself to higher authority, service to the Lord, like that. And asana, we see that's what in present world, we see that yoga means people think that different postures, bodily postures, like, we see Surya Namaskar like that. So posture, sitting arrangements like that. But actually it is asanas, body, it's on the bodily platform where, one can hold his position or a posture for a period of time. He will stay very relaxed in that, and then he's steady and he's comfortable and he's motionless. There is no activity, there is no movement. And pranayama, we know that control of breath, like, we see anulom, vilom, brahmari, kumbhak, rechak, like that. Like, there are different kinds of breathing exercises. That's what pranayama. And dharana means concentration on particular object. And pratyahara is made up of two words. Prati is against, and ahara means bringing near. So that means drawing our attention within not attention, it is awareness within ourselves. So it's a process of retracting our sensory experience from external objects. So you're trying to go internally. That is the pratyahara. And dhyana is contemplating, meditation. So whatever dharana, the concentration we have been focusing, it is integral part of this. Dhyana is integral part of dharana. So dharana is a state of mind, and whereas dhyana is a process of mind. And samadhi, we all know that putting together everything, joining, combining with union in a trance. So where the person, the yogi who's practicing this, and when he reaches this samadhi stage, he's directly connected with the Supreme. And again, this samadhi is of two types, where the samadhi, the yogi is taking the support of an object in his meditation. And there is another type where without any support of an object in his meditation, he is not using any object. So we see that in Bhagavad Gita, how a yogi has to, like, it is very tedious process performing yoga. Like a person has to go to the forest, have this kusha grass. There is a different type of a grass that he takes that and he builds a real big seat for him, very comfortable seat. And then he uses very thin cloth on the top of it. Not cloth, sorry, it is a skin deer. Skin of a deer he places on the top of that kusha grass, and he sits straight, his body, his spinal cord, everything is erect, and he concentrates on the tip of the nose. It is so hard. And then when he's trying to concentrate, he has to meditate upon the Lord, and without fear. Usually we are not meant to be living in forest. Even in the villages, we see that people are not very comfortable going and spending some time in the forest too, because we are not trained in that situation. So that is being ruled out. And then we see that a Krishna conscious person, though he doesn't need to go to forest or anywhere, simply being in your own place or going to the temple, anywhere, you can meditate upon Krishna. And constantly when you are engaged in his service, you automatically all your material activities are being ceased, completely stopped, because you're only concentrating, meditating upon Lord and Lord services. So that's how a devotee or a Krishna conscious person or a bhakti yogi doesn't have to endeavor extra to achieve something. And we see that what is the purpose of this yoga system. So why this yoga system is being taught. So the purpose of this yoga system is to control the mind and to draw it away from attachment to sense objects. We have so many things around us. So one has to really train his mind. As long as we don't train our mind takes us everywhere. We will not have a peace of mind. When we are like wandering, we are like confused, because the more we see around us, the more we want to own it. We want to enjoy that. So when like in material existence, we see that we all are subjected to influence of the mind and the senses. So in fact, we understand that the pure soul is entangled in this material world because the mind is involved with the false ego. The desire to lord over this material nature, like, we want to live in a very beautiful palace or a building, or we want to live in a very opulent place, or we want to enjoy the best car in the world, or we want to own the aircraft, or we want to own the best, like the diamonds, or we want to lord it over. So what happens is, as long as we are not trained, and then we are simply getting attracted to the glitter of this material world, and that way what happens is we are never going to get liberation from this entanglement in this world. So the best way to entangle in this world is to engage our mind in Krishna consciousness. So mind is the cause of bondage, and mind is the cause of liberation. So when mind is absorbed in sense objects, it causes the bondage. And when mind is detached from the sense objects, then it gives us the liberation. So therefore, we always have to engage our mind in Krishna consciousness. So Arjuna also says that this mind is restless, turbulent, obstinate, and very strong. And subduing the mind is more difficult than controlling the wind. That's what Arjuna is speaking about the mind. So it is undoubtedly, it is very difficult to control mind, but with regular practice, we can achieve this task. So Krishna, in the previous verse, the 6.28, he used Brahma Samsparsham. So where the yogi, after controlling himself, and he becomes free from the material contamination. So what happens? He achieves the highest stage of perfection, of happiness, and he gets a connection with the Lord. So what is that connection? That is between there is a transcendental loving service between the Lord and this yogi, the bhakti yogi, the devotee. Then automatically what happens? There is a Brahma Sparsham. Brahma Samsparsham. So that's what its connection between the living entity and the Lord when there is a reciprocation. So we often hear what is the self-realization, like one has to get that self-realization. So Srila Prabhupada has nicely explained that self-realization means knowing one's constitutional position in relation to the Supreme, that we are part and parcel, and our position is to render transcendental service. So Prabhupada has given really a very simple formula for us to be engaged. So how can we come in contact with Supreme Lord? Here we see that yogi has come in contact. So we see that we living entities, we are either in the mode of passion or the ignorance. So when we raise ourselves to the mode of goodness, and from there we transcend the modes, then we can come in contact with the Supreme. So it's a process again, where one is constantly practicing Krishna consciousness, purifying his senses or his existence, and he's realizing his position that he's a servant of the Lord. Constantly we have to remind ourselves, because we have this tendency to control everything around us. So we have to constantly remind ourselves that my position is a servant, and I have to engage everything, whatever I have, to achieve Lord's grace. Then only we can become in contact with the Lord. That's how we can connect with the Lord. So coming to the present verse, that is 6.29, we see in this particular shloka that Lord is describing the practicing of yoga, Ashtanga yoga. By doing that Ashtanga yoga, how a person raises his level, starts realizing himself, who is he, and he realizes the connection with Super Soul. So Lord says that Yoga Yuktatma, a person who's a yogi, a true yogi, what is his vision? Sarva bhutastam atmanam. He observes Paramatma in everyone, in all living beings. Sarva bhuta. And Sarva bhuta chatmani. He also sees every being in Lord. Ikshate means such a person, self-realized soul, sees Supreme everywhere. Sarvatra samadarshana. This is 9th shloka. A yogi got some higher vision where he is able to see Lord in each and every living entity. And is also able to see each and every living entity in Lord. That is what the point here. So important word is we see that samadarshanaha. So in Krishna has again spoken this in the previous chapter, 5.18. Vidya vinaya sampanne brahmane gavihastini sunichaiva swapakecha pandita samadarshana. So samadarshana means who see with equal vision. He is not differentiating between a brahmana or a cow or an elephant or a dog eater, because that yogi, by his knowledge, he could see the presence of Supreme Lord as a super soul in all these beings. So Lord himself says in 18.61, that is 18th chapter, 61, 61st verse, Ishvara sarva bhutanam hrid Arjuna tishtati. So he's saying that he's very much present in living beings' hearts. So Bhakti Yogi who reads Bhagavad Gita, he understands the presence, Lord's presence in each and everyone's heart, and Lord as a Paramatma situated in heart of a dog and a Brahmana. Very nice and touching point of Paramatma, feature of Lord. Here we understand clearly that Lord is there in both body of a dog and a body of a Brahmana. We see that dog's body is a very, very abominable. It's very dirty. Whereas Brahmana maintains his purity. He takes 3 times bath. He chants mantras. And we see whereas the dog does not take bath, passes stool here and there, eats from garbage like that. But still, we see that Lord Krishna is present in both the bodies without making any distinction. That's like a wonderful aspect, that a perfect yogi knows that Lord is eternally transcendental there and is not materially affected with his presence either in a dog's body or Brahmana's body. Because a yogi, he is now fully equipped with knowledge that Lord is transcendental. And we see that Lord remains as a Lord in any situation, in any condition. He is always supreme. So whether if suppose if Lord is in Brahmana's heart, does not increase Lord's level, that he's on the higher position, or if Lord is there in the dog's body, it does not, his level does not decrease. So it doesn't matter wherever Lord is in any living entity's body, doesn't matter, because he's transcendental. He's not affected with materially. He's neutral. He's same in everyone's heart. Whereas we see that individual soul resides in this individual heart, and whereas super soul resides in everyone's heart. So that's what Prabhupada has explained in this purport here, that super soul resides in everyone's heart and individual soul is not present in all the bodies. So that is the distinction. We see that individual soul and super soul, that Lord is present in each and everyone's heart, and individual soul is present in the heart of that particular body. So it's very clear that a Jivatma can never become a Paramatma. So sometimes, we have a misconception that they say that after over practice, a Jivatma becomes a Paramatma. But Jivatma is always Jivatma because he's conscious of that particular body in which he's sustaining. And always Paramatma is always a Paramatma, and he's conscious of all the bodies. That's the difference we have to see and understand. So we see another point is that Lord is source of all beings, and he's like a mother, maintainer. So mother is neutral to her children, and we all are attached to our mother, right? Because why we are attached to our mothers? Because mother takes care of us, maintains us, loves us. But the mother whom we are talking about is mother of this life, right? but there is some other lady was my mother in previous life or lives. So there is not this particular, but then there is one eternal mother constantly. Who's that? That is Lord Krishna, is eternally our parent, mother. He never leaves us. We have to understand that position of a Krishna, how he's accompanying us in every life or a birth what we are taking. So sometimes people question us why we worship only Krishna. Why not the demigods like Devi Devatas, like that? So do we see the demigods or Devi Devatas in our hearts? No, they are not residing in our hearts. Only Krishna is residing. Demigods don't accompany us with us in every life, but Lord Krishna accompanies us in every birth as our eternal well-wishing friend. And we also see how we worship our parents. Our parents are worshipable because they take care of us, they love us. Then what about Krishna? He's been taking care of us from so many lifetimes, and he never leaves us. We have our dear ones like friends, best colleagues, relatives, leaving us at the time of the death. But Lord never leaves us. Either we are in the body of a Brahmana or a dog. He comes with us, present within our heart all the time. He's such a maintainer, loving mother. He's always in touch with all of us all the time. We have to see how compassionate nature of the Lord is, that he's coming no matter what body we are taking, whether we are taking a body of a dog or a hog or a Brahmana or a cow or an elephant, doesn't matter, but he's coming as a super soul. And we also understand from the second paragraph that there are two energies, the superior energy, spiritual energy, and the material energies. So we being living entities, part of the superior energies, but because of our conditioning, we are conditioned by this inferior energy. That's why we are forgetful of our nature and our relationship. And when, as a living entity, when we are serving material nature, then we are conditioned and bound by our activities. And whereas when we are serving Lord directly, then we are under the control of the superior energy. It is Yoga Maya and Mahamaya. Either way, every living entity is situated in Lord's energies, whether he is coming under the superior energy or the inferior energy. So just I say that Ashtanga Yoga is not suited for this yuga as it was practiced in Satya Yuga. In Satya Yuga, it was practiced, meditation was prescribed. But in Kali Yuga, Bhakti Yoga is recommended. It is very practical, very much possible for majority of people. So we simply can chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. By just chanting, we can be engaged in Krishna consciousness. And we can become a Bhakti Yogi instantly. There is no hard and fast rule to process this or become a Bhakti Yogi. And I just stop here, and I would like to speak a little bit about Bhadra Purnima, because today is very, very auspicious day. And if anyone wants to go back home, back to Godhead, this is the best day that we offer by gifting Srimad Bhagavatam on this day to anyone, to our friends or relatives or anyone, colleague or anyone. So by just gifting this Srimad Bhagavatam, because it's a literary incarnation of Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. Krishna appears in so many ways. We have seen that Krishna has come as a literary incarnation now as a Srimad Bhagavatam. So it is very auspicious day. So what is this Bhagavatam? Some of you who have joined, like Kwaku Prabhu, he just joined. So I just want to explain that. Srimad Bhagavatam is like, it's a Vedic scripture. And it is, this Vedic scripture is divided into two parts, Shrutis and Shrutis. So Shrutis, they have 4 Vedas and 108 Upanishads. And Smritis have Puranas and Itihas. So Itihas is primarily like, categorized as a history or something. So where we deal with Ramayana and Mahabharata. So coming to Puranas, there are 18 Puranas, and there are several other Upapuranas, like subsect of the Mahapuranas. And we have Srimad Bhagavatam is considered as a topmost Purana among all other Puranas. And Srimad Bhagavatam has 12 cantos, that is 100 sections and 18,000 shlokas. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has called Srimad Bhagavatam as Amala Purana, that is a spotless literature. And as I said that it is a literary incarnation, it is compiled by Srila Vyasadeva. He is also the incarnation of God. So it is meant for all the ultimate good of all people, and it is all successful, all blissful, and all perfect. So if in Srimad Bhagavatam it says that if on the full moon day of the month of Bhadra, if one places Srimad Bhagavatam on a golden throne and gives it as a gift, he will attain the supreme transcendental destination. So Prabhupada has given us very easiest way of chanting and engaging in Krishna consciousness. And today is a very auspicious day. By gifting Srimad Bhagavatam, we are reserving our seat in Golok Vrindavan, in the back to Godhead spiritual world. So the purpose of this human life is to make spiritual progress and ultimately achieve love of God. So there is no better way to achieve love of God than gifting or surrendering to Srimad Bhagavatam. So if you need any help with the how you want to gift the Srimad Bhagavatam, please contact our temple and you can get more information. And lastly, in Varaha Puran, Lord Sri Narayan, that is Lord Vishnu, is speaking to Brahma, saying that among all the festivals, the celebration of appearance of Srimad Bhagavatam is the best. So he's saying there that I'm subdued by persons who with devotion and love here decorate and worship Srimad Bhagavatam with clothes, ornaments, flowers, incense, and lamp during festivals, just as a chaste wife subdues her husband. So if we want to get connected with Krishna, this is the best opportunity by gifting or by welcoming Srimad Bhagavatam in your home is the easiest and sublime way. So thank you very much. I just stop here. Please, if you have any comments or suggestions or questions, please feel free to share. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much. This is Kweku. I enjoyed it. I'm so glad that I came. A lot of things that I have been studying over the past few days and week or so, a lot of things made sense more today. I've been, I learn faster, and I'm busy all day, so I'm able to learn faster when I listen instead of read. So what I do is that I listen to the Bhagavad Gita over and over. I've probably this week maybe listened to it like maybe more than 10 or 15 times. I listen every day in my car when I'm working, and every time that I listen to it, it makes, I gain, a new realization and new knowledge, and, I'm growing and growing and growing. And I'm just so happy. I think that is the most important conversation that has ever been had. The conversation between Sri Krishna and Arjuna on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. So yes, but I don't have. This is the first time I'm hearing about what you just explained about. Today is the full moon and everything. I realized it, but I would like to know more. And I know you said it, but I still didn't understand properly.
Sure. So I just want to say that Yes, as you have read, as you have listened to Bhagavad Gita 10, 12 times, it's like a treasure, the more you dig into it, the more gems are coming out. So it's never ending, and it's ever refresh, it's ever fresh. Like you never get bored. Like if you watch anything again and again, you get bored. But whereas reading Bhagavad Gita or Bhagavatam, or it is like it increases your curiosity. You want to know more and more, you want to understand more. So that's what happening with you. And about Srimad Bhagavatam, you can talk to one of our congregation member. He's present right now. His name is Ganapati Govind Das. I see him. But if you can call our temple number, you might see it on our website.
Maybe you can post Ganapati Govind's number itself for him,
Yeah, if you
Okay.
post it in the
Yeah,
chat,
sure, I can post it here.
I'll
One
save it.
second. Let me have to just see. Yeah. And he's the right person. Yes.
Ganapati Govind can post, yeah.
Are you there,
Yeah,
Prabhuji?
actually,
Yes. Yeah.
yes, Mataji, Hare Krishna. I'll just post my number, and Prabhuji, you can give me a call when you have a chance and we can talk about it.
Yeah, it
Yes,
is
I
his
will.
first day today. So
Thank you very much. I
Thank
feel so
you.
much at home. I'm so happy. I feel, I don't know, it's like, I feel like, wow, you've been moving in ignorance all this while, and the information was right there. I've been watching Mahabharata since I was maybe 4 or 5 years old, because right when we moved back from India to Ghana, I think by the age of 4 or 5, my dad had ordered the movies, parts 1 to 31 or something like that. And so but when we were kids, just familiar and excited with when Krishna was growing up and some of the miracles and how he was a little stubborn and always giving his mom a hard time. So we grow up and you forget about that, because at the young age, my dad, I remember him always saying the most important part is the battlefield, but we never watched the battlefield, me and my sister. Her name is Lakshmi.
Oh,
And
that's nice.
right, where she was born in Ghana, but my dad said before he left in 1980 back for India, my mom was having a hard time delivering. It was getting pregnant. It was that was my sister's. There's only 2 of us. My sister was the first one, and she wasn't coming. So my dad went to a Hindu temple, and he meditated on Lord Lakshmi to provide him with a child. So when he left for India, then he was called and told that my mom was pregnant, right? But he automatically knew that it was going to be a girl, so he said, we're going to name her Lakshmi, because of his meditation, right? So
Amazing.
I will call and I'll find out. I'm so happy listening to it over and over. I've also been listening to this other video audio that I found on YouTube. It's the Vedas, but it says Upanishads, and it's also very profound. I'm learning a lot, but I'm more addicted to the Bhagavad Gita now, because it's when I'm listening to it, it feels like I'm listening to Sri Krishna talk to me directly, and I'm Arjuna.
Very nice.
Thank you. You're most welcome. You can join every day at 7 p.m.
I will.
Yes.
And Shuddhbhakti, I want to make one more comment, that any other literature, when we read over and over again, you said we get bored. But Bhagavad Gita, not only is it every time we read, it shines a new meaning to us every time we read. Even if you're reading the same verse many, 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 many times, you actually get a more enlightened meaning on that exact same thing that you're reading each time.
Yes, Mataji. Yes.
And,
Very
and
true.
yes, I agree with you. And you know, the interesting thing is now is like I go to bed hoping to wake up to put it back on so I can listen to it in the morning. I get excited in the morning because I know I'm about to, you know, go do my work and listen to this, and